Hi guys! Oh God, now you can see that I'm wearing pajamas down there. That's not what I intended at all. It's okay. I feel like everyone who's on Zoom calls and Insta Lives and any type of meeting nowadays is just wearing pajamas, like a respectable shirt on the top and then pajamas. So there we go. That's my justification. Everyone's doing it, right? That's healthy. Anyways, hi guys, I'm Brittany. Welcome to another Create Career Conversations. Create Creative Careers, that is. I'm so excited to be here again. I had such an incredible chat last week with Ron Finley, the gangster gardener. What a fascinating dude. I'm like obsessed with his masterclass now. And what an interesting perspective from a gardener. I know when you think of creative careers, you don't always think of gardening first. And I loved how learning about Ron and talking to Ron kind of opened up that part of the creative world to me and hopefully a lot of viewers out there. So this week we are talking to a very different creative person because we're talking to a fashion designer. Jerome C. Rousseau is a luxury shoe designer and handbag designer. And possibly some other things too, I'm not sure, but those are his main things. I know when I think of Jerome, I think of shoes, and I love shoes. So anyways, Jerome is going to be signing on any minute now, and I'm going to have him join me. Hi, Jerome. Actually, I see he signed on. Jerome, just request to be in my video. Because I think, oh wait, maybe I can request you. Ooh, I think I can. I'm learning. I'm finally figuring this out better than last time. Okay, Jerome's just signing on now. Isn't it a nice day out today? It's so pretty. And I'm going to try not to angle on my pajama bottoms again. How professional. Oh, I think he's connecting.
Hello, hello. Oh,
Hi!
hi, I have appeared.
Hi! Oh, it's so nice to see you.
And lovely to see you. It's been a little while since we saw each other in person.
I know. It's been like actually 2 years? A year?
Is it that? Is the last time in Vancouver? Or was it here in Los Angeles? I can't remember the last time I
Oh,
saw
wait, no,
you
it
in
must have
person.
been in LA.
Maybe it was at La Poubelle. I am not sure. I've lost the thread. I'm sure Matt would like pinpoint it
Matt
right
would
away.
definitely know.
So,
Yeah,
yeah.
Jerome, for you out there, Jerome and I actually know each other already. We have hung out in two different countries, as a matter of fact. We've hung out in Canada and in the United States. And now
Yeah.
we've hung out virtually online in public. So that's fun.
Does
I
that
like
count
your shirt.
as a new country?
What's that? Is that a new
Does that count
country?
as a new country?
Online? It feels like a new country.
It feels. Yeah. Can you guys hear me properly? Do you hear me properly,
I can
Brittany?
hear you fine. Can everyone hear
Okay.
Jerome fine? Just
I
like
mean,
give
if
us.
you do, then I'm assuming others do as well. I like to
Yeah,
think they do it. Yeah.
that is how the
Cool.
country of the internet works, isn't it?
Yeah. From our own homes to the Instagram live. Check us out.
Exactly. But anyways, thank you for chatting today, Jerome. I've
Yeah.
always been fascinated with your business and with your shoes and with your journey. And so anyways, for those of you, as I said, Jerome is a fashion designer and you focus mostly on shoes, right? And handbags as well. Was I correct?
Correct. Footwear and handbags, but the main focus of my business is footwear. I started with footwear, and I'll be just very honest, it is the core of what I love doing. It's definitely my passion.
That's awesome. That's what I thought.
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
started in the footwear business in London, right?
I started my business here in California. However, I moved to the UK in the 90s, in the late 90s, to study shoe design in the UK at a footwear design school there in London, basically. So that's
Oh,
the
well,
beginning
what
of my
school?
career to an extent, and my first work was in London as well. But I started my own business here in Los Angeles after I moved to California.
Cool. You're from France originally, right?
No, I am actually French Canadian
Oh,
originally.
oops, darn it. I earlier I was
No,
like,
you probably knew this from years ago. It's not an issue. Come on. The accent is French, so I can't cheat on the accent. And then yeah. So you got the accent right.
I know, I was like, I think, are you from Quebec?
I am from Quebec. Yeah, I grew up 9 hours north of Montreal.
Okay,
So
cool.
that's where I started. Yeah, yeah.
I love Montreal. I've only spent one day in Montreal, but it was a really great day. And I tried to speak French I went into a coffee shop to order a coffee, and I tried to order in French, and she was very nice, but the barista was like, "Oh, it's okay, you can just order in English." And I was like, "Darn, is it that obvious that I'm an American?" It
You
was.
know, French-speaking people can be a little difficult sometimes. I'll be the first one to admit it. Just even from just going back home with friends from different countries and realizing, well, this isn't the most friendly reply we could have gotten, or even in France, which is not where I'm from. I've noticed that as well. I don't know. I can't explain it. I'm not like that. I promise you, I'm a nice guy.
No, you're like the nicest person ever. Yeah, I can tell everyone honestly that Jerome is super duper nice. And I was in France in January, and everyone except for one experience in a certain store that we will not mention by name because it's very famous. Everyone was really nice except for this one store.
All right, yeah, that happens.
Speaking of fashion. But okay, cool. So you said that because you originally worked, if I get this right, did you work with other designers in London on other labels as a designer? Is that where you started your career?
Yeah, I did. You got that right. I graduated, I believe it was 1998 or 1999, at that footwear design school in London. And I started working in the UK for various brands and also different designers for a long time. And I also moved to California to work for different brands here as well before starting my own line. I couldn't have gone right out of college and start my own business and been able to create a success out of that from the get-go. It's a really tedious industry to learn, not just the industry, but even obviously my profession as well, from understanding how factories work. It's not necessarily what you learn in school when you study design. So the actual professional experience you gain a lot in the workplace. And I really needed those 10 years working for different brands and designers before starting my own.
When you grew up, before you went to university, in grade school, did you have, what was your arts education like then? Was there an arts education? And how did that influence?
I had a very basic art education in Canada when I grew up. I mean, it is compulsory. We all take art classes. So I've had art classes my entire childhood and teenage years. When I started discovering what's behind the Create California banner and what they are promoting and what they are fighting for, it really connected with me, especially when I've realized that that's not taken for granted for every student here. It sort of surprised me a little bit. And when you start looking at budgets and how art education is cut and slashed, oftentimes first when budgets are tight, I was surprised to see that, especially considering that California is very well known for its creative industries, and it brings a lot of the state. It seems very counterproductive to slash that.
It is. It doesn't make sense because, first of all, like once you get into the workforce, especially in California, the skill that the people that are hiring for jobs most look at is literally at creativity. So I mean, it's just practical for your life, for your livelihood, for your career. And when you're still in school, doing well in arts actually helps you perform better in all other academic classes as well. It helps with socio-economic, emotional health. It helps with everything. And it just doesn't, it should be like first on the agenda. It really should.
It should. I mean, it's interesting to look back at that. But if I look at the art classes I had in school, it was very basic, but how you apply that to different areas of your life, different subjects of your life is really important. As a kid, I did pottery classes, sort of extracurricular stuff, but pottery classes and drama classes, theater. It was just things that, I mean, when you're young, you just want to learn different things, but I have applied that throughout my whole life into all kinds of things. And it comes down to, standing in front of a buyer in a showroom and having to present a horseshoe collection and how you express yourself with your footwear. That also comes from skills you learn when you're young, for example. I'm really surprised that California would not have a more solid plan for art education, to be honest. And I think Brittany, both of us are good examples of people that work in creative industries and have applied all kinds of different creative arts, whether it's what we do for work or not, but into our general way of life and into what we've become as career people, basically.
Yeah. And it's so funny that you say that, but like showing the shoe, because for instance, taking drama class or theater class, whatever you call it at your school district, as a kid, like it can either directly apply to someone like me who actually does spend her life on a stage or on a sound stage or whatever. But also, like you were saying, you're a designer, so you're an artist that's different than being in theater, but you also are kind of in a theater. Like when you're presenting a new shoe or a new design, or you're at, you know, like a soiree or an opening of like your own designs, you're performing. And there's so much that there's so much of like performing that lends itself to other careers. I mean, my mom, both my parents and my brother are all teachers. And they even talk about how a big part of their job is literally performing and is being comfortable speaking, which I know a lot of people, I know like public speaking, and that is different than acting, but I know public speaking is the thing that gives a lot of people, it's like the biggest fear or something that people have. And it's one of those things though, where public speaking, performing, theater, everything like that, like kind of affects all different parts of people's lives.
It does.
So what was
I kind of want to push it a bit further. I think we could also say that even if someone doesn't work in creative industries as a career later on, the skills you learn when you're young through art education, whether again that's theatre and drama, whether it's pottery, whether it's any kind of visual work, you know, art is not only painting and drawing. You know, you can include sculpture, you can include all kinds of extracurricular activities in that. But those will help people be just well-rounded, solid individuals that have interest in life. I really believe it shapes the originality of people and what we become as well.
Oh, absolutely. And like you look at the state of the world today and everything that's going on and all the like civil rights and social justice issues and all the humanity issues, and being a creative thinker, thinking creatively, looking at things different, literally makes you more, it gives you more creative solutions to humanity's issues. Like it literally makes the world better. It makes you a kinder person by looking at things that way, you know?
I agree.
So anyways, I wanted to talk about you a little bit more too. So you moved from London to Los Angeles. How long ago was that? Like 15 years ago?
Yeah, it's going on 16 years this year.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Happy 16th. And I read somewhere that, so you started your own label when you were 25. Is that correct?
No, that is inaccurate, but I should just say yes and look a bit younger.
I'm like, why say God?
That actually, I started writing my business plan the year I turned 30. It was quite symbolic turning 30 and fairly significant as well for me back then.
You look so young. You're saying all these dates and it doesn't make sense. I'm like 30, so 6 months ago.
The California lifestyle, you know.
Yeah, right. Your skin looks younger.
I don't know what it is. I'm just looking. Good sleep.
Yes.
But yeah, when I turned 30 is when I decided to perhaps go into this lifelong dream of launching my own business. And I started writing a business plan very much that same week I turned 30. We're not really knowing where it would lead, but just as an exercise perhaps. And it led to me being really solidly passionate about what I was writing and how I could study, how I could actually make this happen. I was a little bit naive as well at the time, and I had saved money for a whole decade prior to starting my own business towards the goal of launching that. I mean, it was a lot of money to me back then. At the time, it was very little money to start a luxury shoe line, that's for sure. And that's where that naivety comes from. But if I knew better, I probably wouldn't have done it. So I'm very thankful for my naivety.
I'm glad you didn't know.
Yeah, that's right. I'm glad I didn't know. But so I was roughly around 30 when I decided to launch my business, and maybe 31 when my first collection was shown to buyers and press.
That's awesome. And I love the idea of just, I mean, it's not just simply leaping in because you did all this research, but there was an element of you, I feel like you're saying that like, of your leaping in and you didn't know everything that was to come, and you didn't know how expensive things were and how like, whatever elements you weren't aware of yet. And I feel like that's, I mean, a lot of business people do that too, of course, but I feel like having that creative background kind of makes you a little bit braver just to be like, I mean, that's just a personal assertion of mine, but like having that to just be like, no, I have a dream and I need to create. And so I am just going to create no matter what. And I'm going to worry about the other stuff later.
It's because like when you really want to do something, it actually doesn't take courage. Like I would be more miserable if I didn't do it.
That's a good point.
Than miserable doing it. It's not like I had a big choice. It's not like, you know, I had, oh, this is the cross and I go here or I go here. you just want to be happy in life. What makes you happy? This is what makes me happy. I am wildly passionate about footwear, wildly passionate about design. I'm lucky that it's a career, and I was able to marry that into this business. Basically, I feel just very fortunate, even though it's very difficult and very tedious and so much work. It is. I couldn't have imagined how much work it would be, and but when you love doing it, you don't really notice how hard you're working either.
God, that's such a good point. Yes, you're right. Like I'm thinking about like when I got into acting. I mean, I was really young. I was a kid. I was 11, so I was like extra, like anything goes, you know, because I was a child. But still, it was never a thought of, oh, this is a risky business to get into because there's, you know, a low success rate. And it was just like, no, this is what this is what my soul is telling me to do. And same at the time. I mean, I had an idea that the film industry was hard, but I had no idea that it was as hard as it is. And I didn't even care. I mean, I was just like, this is what I have to do. And I want to do that. And that's why I think it's important too, to have, to have arts in the schools, because it tells you from a young age that, hey, this is an option. Like this is your teachers, these people that, you know, hopefully most of the time you look up to or you admire or you see as like a positive authority figure. So when these people in your lives, especially when you're little, you see this authority figure that's telling you like, hey, art is an option. Art is how you can spend your life. You're more apt to dive in and be like, no, this is what I have to do because Mrs. Duffy, or that's actually one of my favorite teachers from 4th grade, Mrs. or Mr. or whatever, said that I can do this. Or even if they don't actually say, hey, you could be an artist professionally, or you could be a designer, or you could be this, just by teaching it, just by having it be part of your curriculum, just puts it in your head like this could be my life.
You make a very valid point. If kids today and teenagers are not exposed to creative arts and creative professions through doing it in their education, I think it really inconveniences the future of these young people and what they could actually be doing.
Yeah.
It really, I can't believe it's actually a conversation that we're having or a debate. It seems to me so
I know
obvious that it's a crucial and important part of funding through school, and the fact that it's debated or actually not available to every young student, it actually saddens me a great deal.
Yeah.
And when I heard about this cause, I was very happy to get involved. I know you are as well. That this is actually why we're both talking about this. But we are actually the examples of, you know, what receiving a good creative education can lead to, actually, and the doors that it opens. And you're right. If kids don't know that these are avenues that they can explore when they're older, professionally, then they won't actually be going into these professions. And it doesn't take that much courage. It just takes knowledge and encouragement, and we both had that. It is very privileged that we both had that.
Yeah.
We're very lucky. And to think that not every kid here in California actually gets this. We're a rich state. I mean, there's a lot of other things like cutting, like police funding. I should be talking about this right now, but yes, big deal.
But yes.
Bring more art education, honestly. I can't imagine that that's a debate that's worth having even.
That's such a good point. Like there's certain things where I'm like, how is this a debate? How is this just not obvious? Like, why isn't it just a thing? And yeah, it's also an equity issue. Like there's certain school districts, there's certain communities that are more underserved than other communities. And it really is, it creates a divide really early on in life. And it's just so unfair. So speaking of like why you and me are involved with Create CA is we're actually trying to make a change. We're actually trying to get schools to follow through with the mandates that they're supposed to actually be following through with. So I'm just going to sorry about that. I'm going to pin a thing to the page that you, all of you, the proverbial you, can go online and actually sign the pledge. Sorry, my phone is a little broken, so it's a little hard.
Yes, if they want to sign the pledge, it's actually very important that people are aware. Everyone, I've been speaking about this a lot this week, and my friends are just not aware that this is an issue here in California.
Yeah.
And absolutely right, it's the discrepancies between school district that creates a very unfair art education for some, and it does need to be addressed, definitely on a state level. I'm surprised not even on a national level at this point. I love your massive
Look at those
beautiful flowers
flowers.
there, and I love you
Sorry.
too.
I'm sorry. I was listening and
You're
I didn't
trying to
even see
win
some of my
something, are
flowers.
you?
I am not
Oh, creative
that.
technology. We're not designed for it. Maybe we shouldn't learn about creative industries. We should learn about technology. I'm joking.
I mean, I could definitely use some more schooling in technology. Also, I'm like trying to pin my comment and listen, and then I was like, oh my god, it's on my flowers. At least it was on something nice though,
They look very nice.
and
They
not
do
like the
look very nice.
wall that's open right now. What?
I can see that you pinned the sign the pledge at
Yes.
createca.org, and we encourage all of you to do this. I'll continue pushing it on my digital media as well. And to everyone I speak to in these coming months, it's something that's important for all of us to be family with.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Did I cut you off at all when I was on the flowers and trying to pin the sign the pledge thing?
No, I don't think so. And it's a conversation. Like things happen. It's perfect. We
I know,
don't need
like
to
cameras
apologize.
turning around and me not knowing how to work my phone and accidentally turning it off 5 times.
No, it's all
Oh
good.
God. But yeah, no, everyone go, if you haven't, please go to createca.org. There are literally like rules and laws and mandates in place for California schools to offer a comprehensive arts education, and only 12% of California schools actually follow through with that mandate. Just to put it in perspective, numbers wise, literally 12% actually do that, and it's crazy.
And this is why we're getting involved. Yes.
Yeah.
I will make a fake pledge and promise to give shoes to everyone who signed the pledge today. You can have
Oh,
this, you can have this one or this one.
those are
It's
really
not.
expensive, so I would sign them if I were you guys. I'm gonna
I'm not
sign it
gonna
like
give
10
you. I'm
times.
gonna give one shoe, and then it's gonna be your mission to find the other foot somewhere. How's that? That's a great pledge.
And then people have to use creative problem solving to find the other shoe.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And if they
Well,
just have the
I'm
art,
just
they can
reading some
find it.
comments, and like someone is saying, so sad to hear the statistics right now. I don't know who you are, but you are absolutely right. Those statistics: 12% of schools offer a comprehensive arts program or have it as a as something that's fixed and safe for that school. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. 12%.
Yeah.
So I mean, let's support the children of tomorrow and give them an art education and give them options in their career and give them at least a vision of what they could be exploring.
Yeah. What can you say? I mean, you live an incredibly creative life. Like every day you wake up and you do what you love. You're designing, you're creating, you're living each day as you want to. Well, I mean, I'm sure some days are crappy because some days are always happy, but you live a creative life.
Very much.
What is that? I mean, it's such a general question, but like, how does it feel like waking up and knowing that like, oh, today I don't have to go into a job that I hate just to make money. I get to create and use my life to put more beautiful things on this planet. Like, how does it feel knowing that?
I never think about it. I never ever, to be very fair, never ask myself that. But if I think about it now, if I think the
Now that I'm
opposite,
making
I
you
take
think
it
about
for
it.
granted. Like this is my life. This is what I've been doing for a long time. So I don't really think of what if I wasn't doing it. But
Yeah.
now that you ask me, if I think what if I wasn't doing it, I'd be miserable. It would be a very different life.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a real privilege and a real joy to be able to do what we love for work. And truthfully, I think everyone has that option. It does take a lot of sacrifice. It does take a ton of hard work. But we have got to encourage young people to explore those jobs as well. And if any kid has a creative inflection, they have got to go to, as parents, it's your job to support that and encourage
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
From my own experience, I can speak of the happiness and the joy it brings me and how fortunate I feel to have that passion and have had, truthfully, the privilege to explore it.
Yeah.
And grow it into a career eventually, and eventually in my own business. It's very fortunate.
I think that says something too, that it's not something you think of. It's just you wake up every day and your life is designing. And I think that's wonderful. And I think that's the way that it should be. Because same with me, like I go to set and this is my life and I love to do it. And I just like couldn't imagine not being creative. And with having equity in arts education, more people will be like that. More people, it won't be a privilege to do what you want to do,
Right.
but it'll just be a right. And right now it is a privilege to be able to be creative and be able to have an arts education. And it shouldn't be. It should absolutely be a right. And every person should wake up like being like, oh, what is it to be doing? Yeah, I just do what I love. Like that, what a beautiful thing. Because when you said that, I was like, yeah, I feel the same way.
Yeah. It's absolutely true. Sometimes like I feel like, I mean, it's important to clarify, we are big bodies so that we both do what we love. God, aren't we lucky, Brittany? We are so
Yeah.
fortunate. But it's also really hard work. Creative industries are not, people often think as a designer, I sit and I sketch and I do this all day or whenever I want, and then suddenly there's a collection. But it's a lot more technical than that.
Yeah.
And running a business, and in your case, being an athlete, also an independent entity, it's a lot of a bigger picture than that. Being good at the performance takes a lot of work, it takes a career of learning to be able to deliver solid performance in front of the camera.
That's only like a small part of it, kind of, pretty much.
Exactly. Looking effortless whilst doing it when people are watching it is the goal. But and the same for me. I don't want customers or fans of the label to think of all the perils and hardships that come before a collection is at retail. But truthfully, there are so many. You could really look at it as a 14 months of hard, intense work before someone is able to buy that shoe in a store. And so there is a ton of really hard work behind the creative industries as well. And those who do well work hard. Someone said that to me, or someone said that somewhere, I read that, but it always marked me. If someone that told me that isn't watching, you better let me know that it was you. But someone said, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. And it just isn't easy. Creative industries are brilliant and they are fulfilling. And they make us grow as humans, and they make humans around us grow as well. But they are not easy professions. I think it's also, I want people to go after their dream, but I want them to be aware that they're going to have to work harder than the others to succeed. And they're the ones.
Big time. Yeah, no, it's funny. I feel like certain creative careers definitely, if you're not in it, or if you're young and you're just still a little bit naive, or you just have no idea, like they seem like these glamorous, fun, easy things. And yes, they are fun, and there's elements that are glamorous, but most aren't. Most of it is incredibly hard work, and most of the work isn't just like the pretty thing that you see at the end of the day, which is like a performance in a movie or a shoe or a whatever. It's like all of the hard work that goes into it. And that's why
it's a lifetime of dedication.
It is a lifetime of dedication. Yeah, it really is. And that's why being a creative professional doesn't just magically happen. Like you don't just like wake up and create a thing and like you get paid to do it. You like need education, and you need commitment, and you need work ethic. And that starts from being literally from being a child, is like just having that work ethic with the things that you want to do. And like I was saying, with arts education helps you also do better in math and in science and in history and all of these other more like standard academic classes. Well, that's kind of how our businesses is, because you're also a businessman, and like I'm also a businesswoman, and I feel like the creative side of our backgrounds and our minds and our jobs helps us do the business side of our business. I mean, I can't tell you how many problems I've encountered in my career that I needed to solve. And the reason why I solved them in the way I did was because I was able to look at it from like a weird perspective, in a good way, like a different creative perspective, not just like a standard, I read a business book, although I could probably use to read more business books because that is very useful. But I was able to look at it in a more unique way.
You're a brilliant spokesperson for this cause, because you've lived that life and you have that experience, but I can tell you have a lot of passion for it as well. People will look at maybe at us talking today, or what we do, or what we post on social media, and think our lives are easy and glamorous somehow. Like this is the most beautiful and most glamorous moment I'll have this week, probably.
Same.
This young, gorgeous actor that I admire. This is a beautiful moment when two creative minds get to talk. Sadly on camera because it's COVID times, but at least we're able to share this conversation.
Yeah, the human interaction. I love it.
Right, yeah. But people should know that after this is done, I'll put on a dirty shirt and I'll be carrying cartons of shoes out the door. There'll be different things I'm doing. I'm not going to be. This isn't the daily life that we lead somehow.
Yeah, no, totally. I know, like, I've been because of the lockdown, I've obviously not been acting as much because I'm not on
Mm,
set. I've been doing Zoom table reads and
mhm,
like model like stuff that I can do from home,
mhm,
but I've been focusing on writing. And
mm,
I love writing, but a lot of writing, like screenwriting, isn't glamorous either. Like you're saying, like there's moments of, oh, these words just poured out of me, but usually they're not pouring out of you. I'm sitting here and I'm structuring things and I'm like this
yeah,
and like I don't suggest this because sleep is incredibly healthy and important, but a couple weeks ago I just had this crazy deadline and I literally wrote for 29 hours straight. Again, I hate when people glamorize not sleeping because it's actually really unhealthy, but once in a while there are days where you have to get things done, and
yeah.
I was writing literally for I think I took a 20-minute break, but other than to like pee and refill my coffee and my water, I was writing for 29 hours straight, and it was not glamorous. It was grueling.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I was creating something, and it was worth all of the hard work and the exhaustion. But don't do that very often because you should. Sleep is very important.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the right example to give, but it's a great example to give. But sometimes after those, as a, for me, to get into a creative mind when I can actually design and produce beautiful work, it takes me sometimes 6 and 7 hours to get into like a
I believe
loose
it.
kind of where the ideas flow and things actually look on paper like I wanted them to. So if you imagine this is your day of work and you're 7 hours in, and you started running a business that day, and so suddenly it's like 9 p.m. and you're just getting warm and getting to do good work. And so then you want to sort of you want to focus and what's the word I'm looking for? You kind of want to make those minutes count. You just
Yes.
basically keep going and keep going until you are absolutely exhausted. But for me, at least, that's when my creativity is best. It's like it's 10:30 p.m. I'm at home. I'm playing records down there,
Oh,
and
cool.
I'm at the desk, which is just behind where this camera is currently. Um, and this is where, for me, that magic happens. It's not the first 7 hours of work. Unfortunately, wouldn't that be great? But it's literally
Yeah.
the next 7 hours that I'm actually focused and I'm creating positive work. And I find that really beautiful. The day after, when you do wake up and you're exhausted, you almost feel hungover from working. But
Yeah.
when you discover the work you've done, it's almost blurry. But when you start to rediscover what you've done a few hours before and you realize it's good, it's quite exciting. I like it.
Me too. I know. I'm trying to, especially with writing and stuff, because with acting, it's there's like a weird process to it, but with writing, there's more of the thing of like you have to create something from nothing, and in this in a similar but different way that you do. And so with that, I'm trying to like teach myself that it's okay that if the first 7 hours of the day, literally a lot of the times, nothing actually gets down on paper, or the things that do get down on paper aren't actually
Mm,
representing the things in my head. Like yesterday, I had a day where I started writing in the morning. I like exercise, so I did get something done. And then I felt like for hours all day, I was like, what the heck did I actually get done today? And I think it was
mm,
around like 9 p.m. that I finally started like getting things done. And my mind went to this thought of, oh my God, it's so late and I didn't do anything today. And then I was like, no, it's fine
mm,
actually, because like not every day is like magical flowing out of you. And sometimes it takes those 7 hours of just staring at a blank page or staring at something to be like, oh, there it is. Now I found it, you know?
mm, mm, mm,
And yeah, that's when I guess I'm just starting to talk about my own process now, my own like trying not to be mad at myself for not utilizing every
mm,
second. But that's not how the creative process is. You don't like you said, like you were quoting that if it was easy, everybody would do it. If you just sat down and magically wrote a script or magically designed a shoe in an hour, then the world would be very different than what it is right now. And it would be,
mm.
I don't know. I definitely appreciate it more that it takes so much time. And sometimes I'm like, you know what? I only wrote a page today, but it was a really good page, and I earned that page because I like stared at my screen for 10 hours.
Mhm. I kind of like, I don't like that about your work as well, but I do feel a tiny bit hypocritical. Today we are telling people the truth and we're talking about the hard work that comes behind creative professions. But I do want people to believe it's effortless. I mean, there's something quite beautiful about people consuming your work, watching your performance, or someone seeing a collection in a store and just believing in the magic that should just
Totally.
happen there by itself. I kind of like to not talk about the difficulties a lot. I think because today we're supporting a good cause and we do want people to understand that creative industries are worth exploring for their kids, but they're also hard work. So we are being honest today.
Well, thank
but
you
in
for
general, I keep quiet about that stuff.
thank you for letting us behind the curtain. Um, I know, I agree. But I think it's good for people to know that it is both, that it is effortless sometimes, but the reason why it's effortless is because the hard work comes first, you know? Like, I'll show up to set and I'll be filming for like 15 hours, and some days it just first take on every scene, I'm like, wow, that was really good. And it really is as effortless as it looks on screen, but it's only because of the work I put in before it, you know? Like, I feel like it's the combination of hard work, and once the hard work happens, then it's more effortless. Does that make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it really does. Yeah. I do hope that with the hard work of Create California, Create CA, and hopefully more exposure to this, that people will actually understand and realize that that supporting art education is really crucial for their children. I mean, I see it like that. I have a lot of friends with young kids now, and to think that they might not be exposed to this growing up here in California,
I know.
I find it really completely unacceptable, in fact.
Yeah,
And I think it's an important thing that we should all be talking about and sensibilizing those around us about.
absolutely. Thank you. It was everyone. First of all, go follow Jerome. I think you can like see, God, I sound like I'm like 90 years old right now on the screen. Go follow Jerome. Check out his footwear and his designs in general. They're so creative. Speaking of like creative conversations, they're so creative and I absolutely love them.
Thank you.
And it was so nice chatting with you, like, you know,
And you.
about important things, and also just to see you again. This is so nice. That's another good thing about
It's
being in a
a
creative
virtual
field.
hug.
I know, virtual hugs.
Almost
If
in
you have a
person.
creative career, you have such fun, interesting friends. I mean, yeah, everyone's interesting, but like I love all my friends that are doing different, interesting, creative stuff, and it's so good to see you. But everyone, go sign the pledge, createca.org.
Do
We
it.
can actually make a change here, and I think this is a good time to do it. I think people are seeing how important creativity is, being at home, and like I'm sure creativity is saving a lot of people's mental states right now. I know it's saving mine. And yeah, sending all you a hug, mostly sending Jerome a hug because I miss him. He's my friend. And go sign the pledge. And thank you again, Jerome, for this lovely chat. It was so nice to hear about your journey.
I really enjoyed talking to you again. I enjoyed seeing you. I look forward to it in person again. Hi, Matt. I'm sure he's watching.
Oh, yeah, hi, Matt.
Matt is our friend in common here. That
Matt's our mutual friend.
Matthew, hello. Okay.
Cool. Thanks, Jerome.
Cheers.
Bye.
Oh.
I actually don't know how to turn this off. Hold on. My phone is actually broken. And I can't really find the end button. There it is. Okay, bye guys. Thank you everyone for tuning in today. I'll see you next week.